So the point being then that this process of economic growth is not necessarily always upwards. It goes in a bumpy ride, and it goes through phases: expansion, peak, recession, trough. And in terms of that diagram, it's very straightforward. At the top here, we would have a peak. At the bottom, we would have a trough. If we're going up, we're growing. If we're going down, we are in a recession. Although the technical term for a recession is in fact 2 quarters of negative growth. So in other words, if we look at South Africa's GDP at this point in time, in our first quarter, which is to say the first 3 months of this year, our GDP was negative. Okay? But then we are not, officially we are not yet in a recession. It's only if in this quarter now that we've just had, which was from April to end of June, if that's also negative, then we've had 2 quarters of negative growth, we are in a recession. So there's the sort of general term of a recession, which is the thing going down, and then there's the technical definition of a recession, which is 2 periods of negative growth. Yeah?
Well, here's this graph, we're looking at real GDP.
In this particular one, it's got here, I'll show you, GDP billions of $2005. So what do you think? So let me just show you what the years are. Remember, this is over time, so we go from 1989 to 2009. It's real because we're looking at it in terms of a base year. Our base year is 2005. We're not looking at the GDP value in each year at those prices. We're looking at the GDP value in each year in 2005 prices. So it's real GDP. Good question. There's another point though, which is I think we'll come to now, which is you see this red line here, which is the trend. It kind of shows that growth is going up. In other words, everything is just kind of going up over time. That red line would be called potential GDP, or I like to call it potential real GDP. And then the blue line is the actual real GDP. And this red line is kind of like a very esoteric, subjective thing. It's kind of difficult to measure this red line, but it's very important, as I'll show you in a moment.